Well, welcome to the continuation of our math lesson on adding and subtracting decimals. Last week we looked at adding decimals, and this week we're going to look at subtracting. Subtraction with decimals works in the same way to addition with decimals. For example, 73.4 minus 1.3. Subtract using grid paper. So again, it's really important when we're writing it on grid paper that we line up those decimals. 7.4 minus 2.1. As long as you remember to line up those decimals, everything should be pretty straightforward from here. We're subtracting. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 7 minus 2 is 5. Just like addition, we're bringing that decimal point back down. So we find out that the answer to 7 minus 4 minus 2.1 equals 5.3, or 5 3/10. We're going to do a couple more. 6 9/10 minus 4 5/10. 9 minus 5 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bringing down that decimal point, we find the answer is 2 4/10. Try the next two at home on a piece of scrap paper. Make sure you're lining up those decimal points. We can also subtract with decimals and regrouping. 53.2 minus 6.7. So we're going to have to remember regrouping with subtraction. This is great review because you can kind of ignore the decimal until you get to the final step. So subtracting with regrouping, 7 1/10 minus 4 4/10. Do you remember how to regroup? Well, can you subtract 1 minus 4? You can't. So just like if this was 74 and 44, you're crossing off that 7, you're trading 1 10 for 10 ones. 11 minus 4, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. 6 minus 4 is 2. Is my answer 27? No, it's 2 7/10. Let's do a couple more together and then I'll get you to practice the last few. 3 7/10 minus 2 9/10. Again, 7 minus 9, we can't do it. We need to trade 1 10 for 10 ones, giving us 17 minus 9. Well, that's basically 17 minus 10, but one less than that. So it is 8. 2 minus 2, well, that's 0. And then just bringing down that decimal point, we're left with 8/10. Getting into some bigger numbers here, 34 8/10 minus 5 6/10. Remember, lining up that decimal point is really important. 8 minus 6, well, I can do that. That's just 2. 4 minus 5, I can't do that, so I'm going to trade 1 10 for 10 ones, giving us 14 minus 5. Well, that's 9. 2 minus nothing is 2. My answer is 29 2/10. So this is actually a bonus question, so I'm curious, does this scare you? But 6.432 minus 2.941. Can you actually do this? Well, I think you can, right? 2 minus 1 is just 1. 3 minus 4 can't be done, so I'm going to trade 1 10th for 100th, for 10 hundredths, if you can imagine that. That's 9. 3 minus 9 can't be done. 5. Make it 13. 13 minus 9 is 4.3. Now that may look scary, but as long as you're following our process right to left and regrouping as needed, it's going to be fine. You can do this. So go ahead and try the next 4 on a piece of scrap paper. I'll write down the answers and you can check those answers when you come back. Pause the video and do these next 4. All right, hopefully you've finished these next 4 on your own. The answer for this one is going to be 0 5/10. The answer for this one is going to be 7 7/10. The answer for this one is going to be 9/10. What's that? 12 9/10. The answer for this one is just going to be 1.9. So to double check your answers, if you got something wrong, go back and check. Maybe I got one of these wrong, so you can maybe correct me if I've done one of these wrong. I did them really fast. Find 3 minus 1.4 using a place value chart. So place value charts just like grid paper, right? We've got our ones column, so we're going to put the 3 here, and then we're going to put the 1.4 here. So how do we find the answer? Well, we need to remember that there are no tenths currently, so we need to make a trade. 2 gives us 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1, giving us an answer of 1 6/10. Again, same thing down here. 14.6, we put the tens, the ones, and the tenths. Minus 8, where does this 8 go? Well, that is ones, so that goes over here. So we have 6 minus nothing. 4 minus 8, well, that can't be done, so we need to go 0. We need to make this 14 ones. That gives us 6. 0 minus 0, and we're left with 6.6. Over here we have 7, that's ones. 2.3. Okay, well, we don't have any tenths over here, so we need to get some. 6 becomes 10 tenths. 10 minus 3 is 7. 6 minus 2 is 4. I know I'm going a little fast, but if you need to rewatch any part of this video, you can just rewind and double check to make sure you're following along. Okay, we've got some exercises. We'll do the first 3 together, and then you can try the next 3 by yourself. 34 minus 0.6. Well, I don't even need to line this up because I've got a big brain, and I can see that this is just going to be 33.4. How do I know that? Because 33.4 plus 0.6 is just going to be 34. Over here, 6.4 minus 2. Well, I can ignore this decimal place because my number is in the front. I'm not minusing any tenths, right? This is 0 tenths. So I know my answer is going to have 4 tenths. And then 6 minus 2, that's just 4. Wow. 21.7 minus 9. Well, again, I'm not minusing any tenths. There's 0 tenths here. So I know my answer, my difference, is going to have 7 tenths. Well, 21 minus 9, I can do that with my fingers. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Boom. So I'm left with 12.7. See if you can do the next 3 without using the standard algorithm. See if there's a faster method. Okay, we've made it to exercises. Jennifer made a 0.8 liter milkshake by adding ice cream to 0.6 liters of milk. How much ice cream did she add? So we had a 0.8 liter milkshake, and she made this is our total, 0.8, by milk. And so how much ice cream is there? Ooh, that is some messy writing. See if you can find the answer. How many liters of ice cream? It's going to be tenths. Lynn cut a piece of wood board to make a shelf that's 0.7 meters long. The leftover piece of the board is 1.2 meters long. How long was the board before she cut the wood? So the total, what's the total here? So we don't have the total. So total minus 0.7 equals 1.2. That's what she told you. Well, we can turn this question around using addition, 1.2 plus 0.7 to give us the total. You can find the answer. We've made it to extensions, so remember the extensions are for people that finish up the practice book. So go ahead and work on that practice book. You're going to finish up subtracting with decimals today, and then I'll see you for our next math lesson.